You know that feeling, right? When some tiny, insignificant little thing happens, and then suddenly it just blows up in your mind. Well, it turns out that's a very common experience, and we're about to look at the exact brain mechanism that's actually causing it.
See, it almost always kicks off with something super small, something that on the surface really shouldn't be a big deal at all. Maybe you send a text message, and the reply just takes a little longer than you expected. That's it. That's all it takes. That's the trigger that can set this whole thing in motion.
And then, almost instantly, that first question pops into your head. It's like a little seed of self-doubt. Wait a minute. Did I say something wrong? And that little seed of doubt, it starts to grow fast. It escalates into something way more personal and honestly, kind of painful. The question shifts from what you said to what's wrong with you. Are they actually ignoring me?
And just like that, poof, you're caught. You're not in the real world anymore. You are stuck inside your own head running the same thought over and over. You, my friend, are in a thought loop.
Okay, so let's actually put a name on this thing. We're going to call it the overthinking loop. And what's really important to get is that this isn't just some random glitch in your system. It's a very specific mechanism your brain is designed to use. Now, here's the key thing to understand. This loop, it isn't a flaw. It's actually a protective mechanism. Seriously, your brain is trying to keep you safe from potential danger. The problem is just that this instinct gets stuck on repeat when it runs into uncertainty. So let's zoom in on that protective instinct for a second. From an evolutionary point of view, one of your brain's oldest, most important jobs is to protect you. And how does it do that? By trying to predict problems before they even happen. So whenever your brain comes across something it doesn't immediately understand, it follows this very specific three-step protocol. First, it spots an unclear situation, like that late text message. Second, it immediately starts scanning for any possible problem. And third, it repeats that scan over and over and over until it finds the certainty it's craving. Now, when this whole process kicks off, it can feel pretty productive, right? It feels like you're actually working on something, like you're a detective trying to figure out a puzzle and connect the dots. But after a little while, you start to notice the shift. You haven't actually made any progress. You're not solving anything new. You're just repeating the same thoughts, the same questions, completely caught in that same loop. And this right here brings us to a huge aha moment. The reason you can't stop thinking, it's not a personal failing. It's not because there's something wrong with you. The real culprit is your brain's deep biological hatred of uncertainty. So this is where we have to completely reframe the issue. We all tend to think the problem is that we're thinking too much, but that's not quite right. The real problem is an overwhelming need for certainty. Your brain isn't just thinking for fun. It's desperately hunting for an answer that a lot of the time just isn't there. And this is why you don't overthink everything. I mean, you don't get stuck in a loop about what you ate for breakfast, right? Your brain specifically latches onto things that feel uncertain, things that are emotionally charged, or just situations that feel a little off. Those are the triggers for that scan and repeat cycle. The faulty logic that keeps this entire loop spinning is this one simple but totally flawed assumption. If I just keep thinking about this, if I just analyze it one more time, I'll figure it out. I'll find that certainty I need. But here's the trap. Most of the time, especially with these little ambiguous social moments, there's nothing to figure out. The late reply could mean 100 different things, or it could mean absolutely nothing at all. There is no certainty to be found. Okay, so knowing all of that, what do we actually do about it? How do we step outside of the loop when we realize we're trapped inside? Well, it all starts with asking a totally different kind of question. Our first instinct, pretty much always, is to fight the thought. We ask ourselves, how do I make this stop? But trying to force a thought to stop is like trying not to think of a purple hippo. It just makes you think about it more. So the big shift is to stop fighting the thought and instead get curious about it. Ask this one really powerful question. What am I trying to be certain about right now? This question is a game changer because it completely changes your perspective. All of a sudden, you're not the person spinning around inside the loop anymore. You become an outside observer, just looking at the mechanism itself. It creates just enough space. And once you can see what's happening,
Oh, right, that's just my brain doing its threat detection thing because it hates uncertainty. The thought itself just loses its power. It's not some urgent truth you have to solve anymore. It's just a predictable brain process doing its thing. So the new approach is really a simple shift in perspective. The old way was all about fighting the thought, which just gives it more fuel. The new way is to simply notice the thought and recognize what's triggering it. You're not wrestling with it anymore, you're just acknowledging it. And that leaves us with this final idea to think about. What if the goal isn't to have a perfectly quiet, silent mind? What if real freedom from overthinking isn't found in silencing the thought, but simply in learning how to notice it without getting pulled down the rabbit hole with it?